Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. I'm Brad and this is John and we're the Posh Kings.
Hi everybody. So we are here today to do a Q&A on Poshmark truths and myths. We asked a large group of our friends to write down some ideas or questions that they had or things that they've always thought and weren't sure if they were true or not, about the app. Nothing overly controversial, I promise, but really some interesting ideas. So we took, all of theirs, and a lot of them, they had, similar thoughts or questions. We compiled them. So we're going to answer them today. Really some interesting ones, though, I believe. And also, by the way, we do have a disclaimer.
Always have to have a disclaimer.
Always have to have a disclaimer. These are our thoughts, what we do, how we work the system.
What works for us.
Correct. You don't have to agree. You don't have to apply these. You may completely disagree, and that's okay. Everybody has their own method for what works for them, works for their closet, their business, and so on. And what they believe is the right thing. So let's just get right into these.
Okay, so what's the first question?
So the first question is, and we'll let Brad answer this one. Is there such a thing as Poshmark jail?
That's been one of those myth terms, I call it.
Since we came around in
14. So there is no such thing as Poshmark jail. What there is, though, they do limit you on how many of the same actions, whether it's following, sharing, stuff like that, in a 24-hour period. So you're allowed to share, whether it's other people, it's a combination of whether you share somebody else and yourself up to 10,000 times, and follow up to 10,000 people in a 24-hour period. If you go over that, what they'll do is they'll pause your account because it picks up as an automation type of a thing. So usually it'll happen, they'll cut you off and then you can check back an hour later, 2 hours later, and it opens right back up for you. But that's what that's all about. They actually don't come into your account and put you on suspension.
They want you to make money.
They want you to make money.
Because when you make money, they make money.
Of course.
So they want to make sure that you're able to do so.
Yep.
One other thing, our account was put on hold one time.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, I remember.
Because we had a lot of stale listings, so forth and so on. So Brad decided, with the use of a cross-listing service, to relist a large number of things. And I think he relisted 550 or something like that for the course of a day. And it did stop him. It
cut me off from continuing to list. So I had to wait, for that one I had to wait till the next day.
Yeah, it did.
It wasn't by the hour.
It was like a full day type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we wrote them and they were like, oh, no problem. And they fixed it immediately. I can't remember if we got turned back on before we got the message back or whatever it was.
Recall.
But they were pretty, on it pretty fast.
You can always reach out to Poshmark support. I know sometimes it's difficult to get through. They get a lot of questions, but do reach out if you have any problems.
Yeah, definitely. Next one. Does following help your business? Again, our thought is...
We follow 8.8 million now.
I think we're technically, we're following the most people.
Maybe the most people.
There may be one or two people otherwise, but it's up there.
A little quick side note before he starts to answer this question. They have, as I'm sure a lot of you know.
By the way, I have notes.
Always have to have notes. They have changed the following format. We used to use, we figured out this
Which
system.
we don't know why they did it.
I don't know why they did it. You used to be able to follow people of all categories, all brands, and there was a thing called active sellers on the all categories, all brands. And those are people that were listing anything under the sun. So it was a great way to get followers that just joined. So they changed things now. So there's really only a couple ways that we can really follow still effectively. But I'll let John now take the floor.
And that was actually we did a tutorial on it 5 years ago. It was our very first public speaking thing. On Instagram. And it really was amazing. It worked so well. And people kept writing us saying they never thought of doing it this particular way, and their sales really did explode.
So now they changed it. It's kind of a little bit more difficult, and it's not so effective.
As effective.
It's kind of a bummer.
Yeah. So it does help, at least our business. And the reason why is Poshmark was built to be a social selling platform. A lot of people that join newly really kind of see it as a social platform because it kind of resembles almost like a Instagram, really, for selling. So people have been taught, be it using Facebook for years, Instagram for years, that when you see a notification of someone has followed you, they go in to take a look. You know, they're curious. And when a new person who comes on who has money to spend, they come on, they see your notification that you followed, and they come and take a look at your items. It really works for us.
Yeah.
I would say about 50 to 60%, I lost track of the exact number, of our clients are people that have joined within the last month, because you can go on and check and see, you know, it says they've been a member since whatever date they joined or signed in. And we really do sell a lot to new people.
Yeah, we do.
So following does help for that reason. You know, yeah.
Yeah, so now they just changed the way you have to find it. You know, you can still do by category, but it's only by specific brands now. But if you do go down to where it says new people, click on that and they'll give you what they call fresh closets and just joins. And those are the ones that we follow.
Also,
for the best results.
Because now they've paired us up together with the other, you know, with Canada and so forth, which we can't sell to them. So that
in India
has taken a little
so
bit
you
of
do end up following a lot of international
that aren't able to buy from you, and we're not able to buy from them.
So yeah, that's kind of a bummer too.
Yeah. Next one. Does sharing other people help you sell?
I'm a firm believer in yes. I mean, yes, we hear it all the time. Poshmark, there are so many different aspects and like variables that go into like running your page, so to say. So it is time consuming. And yes, it is a little more difficult because you do want to incorporate as many things as possible to help, you know, boost your viewing. We are firm believers in the whole concept of sharing other people. Typically, I've said it before, we love sharing parties because you can hit the most broad amount of people out there sharing their closets right now. We really think it's almost like the piggyback method, you know. You're really just, you're bouncing off of another person that could then send out to their followers, and then their followers will share it and then send out to their followers. So you're kind of like just, you're actually getting out there as much as you can. And look,
even more than that, and kind of the real, you know, rock bottom truth is that when you share someone else, most people will come back and share you. It's bringing visibility to your products.
Yeah, totally agree.
That's kind of really where it does help you sell.
It helps us with sales. Whenever we run a sale and we share other people, that's when they come in, they see that we're running a sale and they start shopping.
If you're running a promotion, definitely try to share other people as much as possible. It brings them in, it lets them know, you know, they'll do tags for you, so forth and so on. So that's where it is beneficial to your business. It's not just, you know, being nice and, you know, sharing posh love. But really, you're getting exposure to your items, and we make a lot of sales that way. So sharing other people does get visibility to your products that you want to sell.
Definitely.
So this kind of goes along with that. Do people actually buy from the feed?
Good.
Oh, it's mine. That's right.
We chime in. I'll chime in.
Yeah, he'll chime in. So the answer is yes and no. We definitely feel, and I would say in a large percentage, people, I should say experienced buyers and experienced sellers don't search the feed to buy products.
Right.
They just don't.
You do the specific search.
Yeah, they know what they're looking for. They're more specific. That's why the whole relevance thing kind of was a little bit mayhem. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
So what actually happens, so researching, or not researching, going back to the people who have just joined, or they're fairly new within the first month, they don't know how to operate the system as effectively, they do go into the feed. Because what do most Instagram people do? They're familiar with social sites.
Yeah, same thing.
They go straight to the feed. We were on Poshmark, I would say, almost a year prior to, and because we had an old closet, fun fashion. And we always just go straight to the feed. I couldn't figure out the app. It didn't make sense to me, really. But I went to the feed and I would look at all the things in the feed. So to attract new clients or people that are new, and keep in mind, new people are fresh money.
Yep.
And they often don't lowball, not always, lowball as much as maybe savvy shoppers do. Savvy shoppers typically know what they can probably get an item for. We feel just joins or people that are new to the app pay a higher price for the same goods.
Also, real fast, I'll add one more thing if I can. So another thing that's great about the fee, which they changed this over the years as time marched on since we started, they do put like brand just added, if that makes any sense. So like, you'll go through the feed, yes, you'll see everybody sharing each other, but then you also see like new listings for Nike, or new listings for Victoria's Secret, or new listings for Free People, whatever it is. So it's a great way to see like what's fresh and new instead of like looking for Free People new. It's also another way to kind of filter and find stuff. So they do help advertise that. It might catch your eye if you're in the feed. Yeah,
and the feed's a lot more appetizing than it used to be back in the day.
It was crazy back in the day.
It was simple. It was really
so
kind
simple.
of basic. It was really basic. Let's see. Do you have to list every day? So okay, this is a controversial topic.
And of course, let's remember the disclaimer.
Because we will probably get a lot of people telling us we're 100% wrong and totally off our
And that's fine, because whatever works for you might not work for us.
Exactly, it's okay. So whatever works for you, do.
And we get asked this question, I can't even tell you how many times. So
a lot.
We've tried so many, we always test the way our business runs on Poshmark. So we've tested this method. We didn't see any improvement on sales. I mean, we typically list.
There was no difference.
There was no difference. It was like the same thing as if we only, because we usually typically only list 4 or 5 times a month. We do everything in bulk.
But we'll list 200 or 300 items in that
items.
time.
So we don't. There wasn't any difference or improvements or whatever like that by listing every day. And we did do it. We did 5, we did 10, we tried 20. We personally didn't see any difference. I know the community, some people say it works wonders for them. For us, it didn't. So we don't firmly believe in having to do so in order to make your business stand out,
But this is what kind of a clause to that. I think the theory of listing 5 items a day is to create a learned method that, because it is true, the more items you have for sale, the greater the opportunity to sell something. Also, when your items are just in, of course there's a greater opportunity because they're, top of the feeds and so forth and so on. They're fresh. So for that reason, anytime you list, you get a higher visibility.
Right.
I don't think it's an algorithm issue that you get some special placement, because I have to be very honest, I think we all learned with the last rollout, there is no special placement except for people that work and share their items, at least it was, who's to say it's going to stay that way for much longer, that you kind of get the reward that you would have higher visibility.
Right.
So I don't think it's necessary, really, to do it every day. Now, what we will say is we really believe both with the possible that some form of the algorithm, not algorithm, but the search relevance or something like that, some form of it coming back, which Poshmark pretty much said it will.
It said in the letter that it is coming back. They're going to work on a new improved.
Yeah, there'll be a different form of it, but we're not convinced it's fully gone.
Yeah.
That, what we feel really is relisting. Relisting is the key.
It's key.
The more items you can safely relist a day or you have the time, that's going to put your items in the highest visibility factor. So I think even above listing every day, it's relisting, a larger bulk of items. And typically relisting is faster than listing new items.
Totally agree.
If any of that makes sense, I know we rambled a little bit. Okay, let's keep moving. Does blocking hurt your closet algorithm or so forth and so on? The answer is 100% no.
And I mean, we went to headquarters out in San Francisco.
This was a question we directly asked.
COVID, we went to the birthday party out in San Francisco. We did it like 3 times or twice. We went out to headquarters to do the tour, and we talked to the team. And this was a specific question that we wanted to ask. And the team 100% said, this is not true. Like, they want to keep as much peace as possible so to say, on the app, because that's what it's all about. It's supposed to be about Posh love, Poshy this, Poshy that.
They don't want cat
They
fights.
don't want cat fights and like gruesome messages
buyers.
And, you know, they don't want the conflict. So
it was put in place really to protect buyers and sellers from any situation that doesn't feel comfortable for them.
Right.
100% block as needed. It will not affect your closet, your algorithm, or your searches or anything like that in any way at all.
So we do block. If that was going to be, if anybody's asking, we do plenty of blocking. So it will not hurt your algorithm or the way your items are seen. So.
Okay, so this one, I think our heads will go onto a stick for. Does SEO matter on Poshmark? It definitely matters on Mercari.
And definitely on eBay.
Definitely on eBay.
Definitely on Tracy.
And some of the other apps. We believe it definitely is important. It's extremely important for Google search.
Which is also important on Poshmark for Google search.
Of course it is.
Of
course it is.
You know, SEO is great for Google search.
Our theory is in-app buying, I don't know that it's that important. Especially when we saw, again, the relevance, which people were recommended, because it was back and forth, the relevance were recommended. It did not matter at all. People that had 2-word titles and 2-word descriptions.
We're seeing over...
And people that had the most excellent, and there are some people who have studied this to the T, SEO, were buried. Again, there will be some version of that coming back. And I have to say, there is something, I'm kind of, if I deviate, we're starting to feel, again, that there is some form of that last rollout existing within the system. We could be wrong, but we have done a couple of our own tests. Now, sometimes when we share an item and we immediately check, you know, it's at the very top because it
which is the they switch it back to just share.
Just shared. It's at the very top because it's we do it within seconds. It's like all of you. It's how you test it. There are other times we share things, and I know it could be because it's a certain brand and certain volume. However, our items are buried hundreds below, and there are people that are on top of our particular item. Let's say it was a Vince Camuto sweater or such and such and such, who shared their items after hours.
But they were above us.
Which
was also the issue with the whole recommended relevance thing. You know, so we are starting to sense, because we, like John said, we do test a lot of different things, especially when it comes to like new changes or anything like that. We want to see if we need to switch up our game or evolve to the new, you know, policies. We definitely see something. We just can't really pinpoint it yet. But you know, hey, if you guys see anything, feel free to reach out to us. Let us know what you guys see or think, or comment down below and say something.
Exactly.
Oh, can I bounce one thing off too?
Yeah, sure.
So with the SEO thing, I had to ask him permission, which is kind of, you know, the proper thing to do. But anyway, so with the SEO thing, we actually, when we first started, we used emojis. I know like Mercari.
This is really something. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, because even up until like when we did our name change to the Posh Kings, for branding purposes, you know, as everyone knows us, we put like crowns with everything like that because it's a great way to market, you know, your brand. So in the beginning of each title, this is before they even extended the character count for your titles. So it was always very short. But we put crowns. In the past, we would do like, for like Valentine's Day, we put hearts. Or St. Patty's Day, you know.
And everybody did back then.
Everybody did like, you know, fun thing. And people still use emojis. If an item was new, I put the little new emoji. We actually didn't see anything.
We have never seen a difference.
A downslide when it comes to using emoji or not using emoji. I mean,
I have to be honest, I think when we used emojis and things like that, it actually...
Well, it makes your items stand out a little more just because...
And it helped us.
With us, like
again, our theory.
Yeah, our theory, and you know.
Yeah, we don't want to like, you know, break heads over that one. Or have ours broken over that one. Is it true that the longer the description, the greater number of sales?
Okay, well, I'm going to say one thing real fast. Obviously, on other apps, we have to keep always mentioning other apps, like especially now, like Mercari extended their character count as well. I feel like on Mercari and eBay, for sure. When we first started eBay, the number one thing everyone kept telling us was like, add as much as you can into that title as possible to be, you know, for a good SEO and make sure you're seen. Poshmark, I don't think you need to have.
I think you need to be thorough.
Thorough.
I think you should have a thorough title.
But to like do like the ramble title, I don't know if it's so necessary.
And that, look, that's based on the old system, which in theory we have back again.
Right.
I think as long as it's thorough, that's what's important. I mean, if it's something simple, I mean, how many characters can you use up about something that is probably new or is new? You know, it's just make it thorough. I don't think you have to restrict yourself to these really long, lengthy things that really are just not necessarily applicable. You know, we're all searching. We all are in time crunches. So all these parameters now that require us to do more, and work harder, sometimes can really be daunting, especially for, you know, let's say a seller that has a family or they have another job. They don't have time to do all these lengthy processes that have been determined to be necessary in order to sell something. Okay. Does CCO actually work? Here we go. Get in trouble again.
I don't know if we're going to get in trouble with this one because I think
most people agree.
I think people are going to agree. And honestly, comment again in the comments below and give us your thoughts on this. As we all know,
hopefully good thoughts.
Hopefully good thoughts. Yeah, hopefully good. Pray for that.
Yeah.
As you all know, CCO is usually like every few days. We are firm believers in...
It's too much.
It's too much. Like, if you lower your price, and then the next day you have to list some things, and then the next day you have to lower your prices more, you just keep bringing it down, and there's no, like, wiggle room at that point. So what we've seen is, people actually, like, raise their prices up, but we don't get a huge response from CCO. We typically get better response from, like, offered likers, or if we drop our prices, not every 3 days, but, like, let's say we start an item at $40, well, when you mark it down to, let's say, 25, the person who liked it will get a notification. And we have better luck with it when it goes to that, but not every few days. It's actually driving the prices down so much.
It can be a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be that often. You know, it's a bit...
Because at some point you're going to then relist it because it's the same thing with offer to likers. Like, as we all know, you get to a point where you're only hitting people who recently just liked it. You're kind of what we call like burnt out on all the other people because if they're not taking your lowest offer that you want,
just relist the item.
Relist the item. It just makes more sense.
You know, you get fresh eyes on it.
Yeah, new eyes.
It's new.
Usually, yesterday I relisted 50 pairs of shoes, and we already have new eyes on them already. So it now gets to start that whole process over. It makes more sense that way.
So the next one is why do you think Poshmark was with the former relevance recommended promoting unshared or closets or dead accounts over active sellers who have great SEO listings? And again, this is our assumption. You put the pieces together. You know, we've met with many of the executives, and I think if I could put together probably the reasoning behind this, is we didn't meet with anybody over this particular issue. No. But in the past, great conversations we've had with them. I would venture to say at any given time, there are probably at least tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of items that are listed on Poshmark. Some are completely dead accounts. We all know that. But some are people that really are not looking to do the hard hustle. They list their items and they wait for it to sell. And if it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. As Poshmark is a business that, you know, has shareholders to report to, and, you know, obviously they have bills to pay and teams to pay, so forth and so on, they want to make as much money as possible. So it's only understandable that they want to promote all of these products that are going unsold.
And unseen.
Yeah, and unseen. You know, because if, you know, Poshmark, if you don't research a specific item, or if you don't share the item, these items just kind of sit and...
way down in the basement of a search feed.
Yeah. They have no visibility.
There's no visibility.
So we can certainly understand as a company, Poshmark... Well, I was sure if I had the company, I would want all that stuff to sell as well. It's more money for the company, more, you know, whatever. So I get it. I get they want those items to sell. However, I think, you know, kind of what a lot of people, now there were some people that said they were not affected at all, and we have to give, you know, kudos to that. Congratulations, that's wonderful. But the people that did feel they were affected, you know, you want the reward of your work. You know, I equate it to kind of a factory analogy. You know, is it fair for, let's say, half of the factory employees to sit in the cafeteria all day and not have to do anything, and the other half of the employees have to work the floor, the sweaty floor, you know, let's say making engines or whatever it may be, and all of the people got the same paycheck at the end of the week? So we're hoping that with the new revised edition, it does not go back to anything close to what it was.
Also, too, it is kind of, it's a different scenario when it comes to Poshmark. Look, Amazon, eBay, even like Mercari, Tradesy is a big one. It's like that whole set it and forget it. Poshmark was built around
social
interaction, social stuff. So, you know, it's kind of a double-edged sword, because you want to respect that they want those things in the basement that are not really shared a lot to be seen, but it was actually built off of the more you put in, the more reward you get back. So,
and a lot of people specifically chose Poshmark because what it did do above some of the other sites, you know, which look, we sell on several sites, so there's no, you know, pointing fingers. But what Poshmark gave people was the ability to make a sale happen.
Yeah.
If you worked hard, you did the work, the ability to make a sale was greater than it may be on another app.
I would say it's like the Avon of our time. I always tell people, like, you know, it's almost like doing door-to-door sales. Like, you can actually put in all you want, and you actually can
increase your possibilities.
So
yeah, definitely. And again, we do love Poshmark. It was our first app, and we really
it's
our main primary one. You know, but there are things that we don't always agree with, or we look around and try to figure out a new hack, and I guess that's it, right?
Yeah.
So don't hate us too much if we said something you don't agree with.
Disclaimer. Remember the disclaimer.
Yeah,
always remember the disclaimer with us.
This is what we think, what we apply, but whatever works for you, just do it, and be the best you and best seller you can be.
Absolutely. And just make sure you guys subscribe, click the like and all that stuff, and it'll be on the next screen, a little icon, I always say, and we'll keep putting out content for you guys.
Thanks for joining, everybody.
We love you all.
Be well.